There we go. And we are live. Hello, everybody. Shadows Lair Live Season 2. We are on episode 14 with the amazing, lovely Jenifer Alvarado, singer, songwriter, amazing voice. How are you today?
I'm good. I hope you're well.
I am. I'm doing really well. We've got some exciting things going on over here. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's definitely busy over here. So just trying to keep everything straight. My car actually the alternator's going out in it, so it's like in the shop and I'm stuck at home and I'm like I
Oh,
have things
no.
to do. I've got to get this car back. So
Right. Wow. So we're going to take this back to when did you first peak an interest in music and starting a career?
well, starting a career is different, but I mean, I've been doing music since I was little. I started writing when I was about 4, which probably sounds weird, but my grandmother and I would make up songs, and that was my pastime, was making up songs and stuff like that. And just fell in love with music. Started with children's choir and musical theater stuff like that when I would get the chance, and actually grew up was lucky enough to grow up in a church that had like a choir with it and all that kind of stuff, so got a lot of experience through that and leading different ensembles through that. Honestly thought I was going to go into the direction of contemporary Christian because I was a worship leader and was doing that, and kind of made a switch in 2020 to the country stuff. Of course, like, you're stuck at home with the pandemic and all of that, and I started releasing the country stuff that was sort of just on a shelf, like it was just in the background, just sitting there. So and then it kind of took off on its own. As far as wanting to do it as a profession, I think I always wanted to do it. It was not necessarily having the confidence to do it. Um, so, I mean, I remember being 4 years old and realizing that people sing for a living, and I was like, that's my job. Like, that's what I'm going to do. But then I was raised very, with realistic expectations and stuff like that. And so I sort of went down that path of like college and career and all that. And it took a while to get back to music, and beyond that, to have the confidence to really do it full time and go into it and just sort of be like, you know what, this is me, this is what I have to offer, and not worry about everybody's opinions in the process.
That's right. And so obviously lifelong, you knew that you wanted, wow, that's amazing. Sitting there writing songs at 4 with your grandmothers, that is something. I bet you that is just going to be something that a story that you could tell from years to come because that is really cool. And then the fact that you had the opportunity to actually sing in the choir in church and things like that, that's
Mhm.
amazing too. Did you play any musical instruments or anything like that in school?
So in school, I was supposed to be a flute player, and switched to chorus like the day before I was supposed to start in band, because I was like, nope, I want to sing. And but yeah, growing up, my papa taught me some mandolin and some guitar, and then I ended up actually taking piano lessons when I was older, and started guitar lessons when I was maybe 13 or 14. And just loved it. And my biggest thing with picking up the guitar was, I was writing songs, but I wanted to be able to actually play them myself too, and be able to accompany myself. And so that's sort of where that came in, was, yeah, it's great to be able to write them, but how are you going to play them? So that's why I picked it up.
That's awesome. Who has been your biggest influence in music for you in life, whether it be professional or personal?
I would say personal was definitely my grandparents. My papa played several stringed instruments. Whenever I was at their house, I mean, music was on the TV, or he was playing or something like that. So I think just being exposed to that at a very young age, and realizing like the love they had for it, my grandmother and him both, definitely was an influence. And then I think career wise, Reba, like Reba without a doubt. I started following Reba when I was probably 8 or 9 years old. She was my very first concert that I ever went to, and I watched her perform, and I was just like, okay, so this is a performance. This is a whole like musical theater kind of, costume changes, all that. And she really taught me what the business looked like beyond just singing a song and being up on a stage, like actually, putting together shows and stuff like that. So she's always been the one I've kind of looked at as that role model.
That's so cool. Reba rocks. She really does. Like she's got that she's country, but she's got like that rock star thing going. Like seriously, she really does.
She's got grit, and I think that that's the one thing that, I mean, honestly, if you're going to do this, you've got to have grit. You've got to have backbone, because you know you get everybody's opinions whether you want them or not. Like, you just get all these opinions thrown at you, and it's like you've got to be able to take that and kind of analyze it from the standpoint of, okay, how could I do better? How could I move forward with this? But also, where is this one coming from? Like, is this valid? Is this a valid point? And be able to kind of, because I'm that person that, I am a perfectionist. I've been a perfectionist since I was little. And that's been one of my biggest struggles, is the perfectionism of wanting to, do everything correctly. And that's not normal. That's not life. Like, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to get things wrong. You're not going to be perfect at everything. And I think being able to lean into that and be vulnerable with that is kind of what helps give you that grit and move forward, and realize that everybody's going to have an opinion. Some people are going to like you, some are going to hate you, and you've just got to keep doing what you're doing. So,
Exactly. That is awesome. Are there for anybody out there that is watching that also has confidence issues, whether it be in front of the camera, speaking, anything,
yeah.
are there some things that could throw out there that may help overcome some of this confidence fears or whatever you want to call them?
I think for me, I think the first thing was that with music especially, I just I go to counseling. My husband's a counselor. Beyond that, so I'm very big on like seeking help if you need it, all that kind of stuff. And I've struggled with anxiety for a good chunk of my life. And for me, I had a counselor tell me, it's not about you, it's about being God's instrument. Like, your music and your voice and all of that, you're an instrument of God. And so for me, that took the pressure off, because again, it's not about me. And I think once you get past that and you realize that you're being used for a bigger purpose, and like those things that you think are flaws, those things that you think are, your biggest insecurities and your biggest hurdles, that's how you're going to speak to somebody else. Like, that's how you're going to be able to reach somebody else who is struggling with the same thing or struggling with something similar. And I think being able to lean into that has helped me tremendously. Like, being able to say, you know what, like, I do have anxiety. I do have these insecurities, and just be very honest. I think it takes away some of the shame that comes with that. And instead, you're able to just, be you. And, whether they like you or not, that's really not about you. That's on them. And it's much easier said than done. It's much easier said than done. But I think once you start looking at it like that, it becomes easier over time.
Yes, it really does. For me to get more comfortable in front of the camera,
Yeah.
I did a set on TikTok and then I got off that, but then I started talking into the mirror and things like that, and then now here I am.
Yeah, exactly. It's just getting to the place of like, what I have to say matters. And that is worth more than maybe this like feeling of uncomfortableness that comes with it sometimes. Because I mean, there's a lot of times where I'm up on stage or something like that, and you're just not feeling your best, I guess, for the day or whatever. Maybe somebody has said something, maybe something's happened, and so your confidence is shaken. And so I just have to tell myself in those moments, like, it's not about me. It's about the music, it's about the song, it's about sharing a story, and this is what I do, and this is why I'm here, and you go do it.
That is so cool. Seriously, you are literally, because in the description, I picked the word lovely to describe you.
Oh,
Uh,
thank
and the things that I've read on you and things like that, and then listening to your music, that really does fit you, that word.
you.
So, um, is there a favorite collaboration that you have done? Because I love the one that you did with the White House.
I think that one is probably one of my favorites, honestly. It's very truthful for both of us. He wrote that based on his wife. I wrote it based on my husband, and it really is that whole opposites attract kind of thing. And it was one of the easiest writes I've ever done, because it's truth. It's all right there. And so I think, and then I think also the blending of the styles really, it just worked. And it's one of those things of, 1 in a million chance of it just sort of all coming together and it working. Because we are very different. We're very different artists. We have very different backgrounds. Chris is a great guy. Um, and it was just a cool experience to be able to share that, and to work on that.
So, what if you could collaborate with like the ultimate once in a lifetime collaboration?
Yeah.
Who would it be?
I mean, oh goodness, there's so many people. There's so many people I'd love to collaborate with. Um, Honestly, I'm gonna say Reba. I know that might be a cop out, but I think, I mean, from the age of like 8 or 9, like I was just like, I want to get up there and sing "Does He Love You" with her, and of course, like I would want to sing something different that would be our song. But um, yeah, I just think that would be sort of one of those full circle moments. Um, and so she will always be that one. Who else? I love Chris Stapleton's voice. I love what he does, in general. I'm trying to think who else. Just off the top of my head, I would love to write one day with Richard Marx or Patty Griffin. Those are probably two.
Oh,
Yeah, those two writers are like the two that I look at in awe. Like, and I remember being 3 years old and listening to Richard Marx and just boo-hooing and crying because it was just like so moving. Like I didn't even halfway know what the words meant or what it was about, but I was just like, I love this. So I think both of those artists I would love to be able to write with one day.
that is wow. Sir, if like Reba, that is cool. Reba, if you're listening,
I know, please.
Jenifer, listen, we're gonna have to tag her in the comments or something. I'm doing that for everybody, try to tag people in the comments so that hopefully maybe, because unless somebody sees it and tells somebody else, people may not know.
Exactly. Exactly.
So, is there any other styles of music that have influenced your sound?
Most definitely. So I think, so I grew up with two sets of grandparents that were completely different as far as musical taste. Well, not completely different, but pretty much. Um, my one set of grandparents, very traditional country, bluegrass, all that. Um, that's what I fell in love with. That's what I was singing and what I wanted to do when I was little. Um, and then opposite was like the Bill Gaither Southern gospel, which kind of blends, but also classical stuff like that, very high church sound kind of thing. So I grew up with that as well. Um, And my mom was very classic rock. So she was like the Tom Petty, Eagles, all that kind of stuff. So I had that. And then honestly, I went through a rap phase when I was probably like late elementary school, early middle school. I listened to a lot of like hip hop and rap. So I had that. And then when I went into college, I actually started as a vocal performance major. Um, but I listened to leading up to college, high school wise, listened to a lot of musical theater, a lot of opera and classical music. So I'm sort of I love music, so it does not matter to me what it is. I just love it. Whitney Houston, Celine Dion, Mariah Carey, Gloria Estefan. I'm trying to think how many, like all these different people that I listened to growing up that, I loved female singers because, I'm a girl and that's
Right.
who I modeled myself after. And I think the other thing, like Wilson Phillips, like I used to listen to them, their harmonies, and
Oh, I know.
that's how I learned to do harmonies was I would listen how this part goes and this part and then be able to like blend it. So I mean, they taught me a lot.
They have, who is your from your rap phase? Who is your favorite rapper?
Oh, I was big into Salt and Pepper.
Oh my god. I actually seen them with New Kids on the Block.
Really?
I and who else was there? Debbie Gibson, Tiffany on the
Oh,
mixtape tour.
oh, cool.
Yeah, that was so cool.
That's awesome.
That
Yeah, I was big into Salt and Pepper. I'm trying to think who else. Eminem. I like Eminem. Yeah, I mean, I like just about anything. So yeah, one of my favorite songs is Low, and yeah.
nice. So on your current release,
Mhm.
which song on there means the most? I know every song means a lot to everybody when it comes down to it. But if you had to pick one off the newest album, what
Yeah.
would be your favorite one from that album?
Hmm. I think from the Songbird album, um, probably the title track Songbird, or Filthy Water, one of those two. I so basically that entire album was written around that title track. And for me, that is just where I was. I was in this place of I knew I needed to leave a situation, but so many times when you're in a situation, I'm that person that wants to fix it. I'm a fixer, and so I wanted everything to just be good, and I was just going to stick with it until it killed me. Um, and so I think with that song, it just really illustrated where I was in that section of time. Um, and I think with the Songbird release, I was very, very honest. I was honest to myself. I was honest, obviously with other people of how much some things bothered me and hurt me, and just being able to go through that and then rebuild from it was a huge thing. And so I think for me, that's probably the song that means the most. That or Filthy Water, just because Filthy Water came from a very raw place too. Um, and for me, that song, it came out exactly how I wanted it to come out. And I felt like I got away with being the nice girl with that song. Like, I think so many times in my life, I'm a people pleaser. And so I want to say the bare minimal or not tell people how I truly feel about something. And that song was just like, nope, this is how I feel. This is where we're at. And I felt like it was the first time I was fully honest, even with myself, of how I was feeling, and that it was okay to be angry with how I was feeling. Because I think so many times, especially as women, like we're not supposed to be angry. We're supposed to just go with it.
And
And
just understand.
yeah, and just, say, okay, that's fine, like whatever. And so it allowed me to be angry because I mean, honestly, I had a right to be angry at that point. So yeah, I just feel like that song and Songbird are probably the two that really just kind of encapsulated where I was.
That they are very deep songs for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, and also too, I'd like to point out too, if you're not feeling right or something, people, and you think that, whatever, and you got thoughts and things like that, reach out to somebody. Just call up a friend, be like, hey, what you doing? There's several different apps, text, anonymous text things, phone lines that you can
Mhm.
call, text, and things like that. There's even online teledoc services for mental health. And remember, nobody has to go through it alone, no matter if it's mental health, domestic violence, PTSD, alcoholism, drug addiction. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be alone.
Yep. Yes.
So, oh, and I have a question. Is there
Yes.
one place that you would love to tour that you have not yet?
Oh,
Because
there's so many places. There's so many places. So we actually just got back from Boston. I had to go up to Boston to record this next single, which the campaign for this next project is coming out tomorrow. So
ooh,
that's going to be buzzing. The project is called Lately, and it really is. It's kind of interesting that you just said what you said, because the next project is very much about mental health, and some of the songs are about, you know, my anxiety, my depression, like very personal things, but it's also about telling your story and being able to reach out and be that person that very much could break the chains off of somebody else's struggles. And so it just really is about sharing your testimony and the importance of sharing your testimony and your story. So that'll be out tomorrow, coming out, and information on it and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just went to Boston to record the next single, which you'll be able to listen to for free with the campaign. It's called Jesus in a Bar. I know it's a little bit of a weird title,
no,
but
I'm intrigued.
the whole point behind it is, you don't have to be in the four walls of the church to be able to make a difference. I think for so long, because I was in ministry, I'm still in ministry, I'm a worship pastor, and I think a lot of times we get it confused, and we think that in order to do ministry and just be there to help people, and that's what I mean with ministry, um, that somehow you either have to be employed by a church or inside the church or whatever. And that's just not true. We're supposed to be outside. We're supposed to be representing and being that person that somebody can talk to and be honest with if they're having a bad day or whatever the case is. I mean, I truly believe that's why we're on this planet, is to help one another and to do life together. And I think, especially with the pandemic, we saw how lonely it can be, and there's a lot of mental health struggles that came out of that, with people just having that time where they have to face things on their own. And like you said, you don't have to face it on your own. You can ask for help, and one of the strongest things you could ever do is ask for help. I think that there's a really just stigma put on asking for help, and honestly, I'm kind of conquering that right now, because I'm doing a crowdfunding campaign along with this release, so that I am able to go back in the studio and finish the songs. And I hate asking for help. Like, I would rather eat glass than ever ask somebody for help. And so, I'm sort of having to, I guess, put money where my mouth is in a lot of ways with this. Of I'm asking for help too, and it's a struggle, but it's one of the strongest things you can do. So I'm with you. If somebody's struggling with something, reach out. There's so many different things you can reach out to. But also, I mean, look me up. I'll talk to you. Like,
Yes, also too, there's a fine line too, I believe, between being there for somebody and then that person that you're there for is like making their mental health your responsibility,
exactly.
and you have to know the fine line. But
Yeah.
after you get to the point and then the person that's there for you suggests that you should reach out for some professional help, maybe you should consider it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
Most definitely. Yeah, I worked at a women's shelter before I went into full time music, and one of the biggest things I had to learn was you cannot do it for them. You
Nope.
can't want it more than the person, because you're going to end up just completely destroying yourself in the process. So you've got to keep those boundaries. You've got to um, keep that stuff in mind, but there's a way of being able to be there and know and speak truth to somebody, um, but not take it on as your own. So
Yes, and that sometimes that can be hard to do, but we have to know the difference because as much as we want to help people, we can't let our mental health diminish in the process.
yep,
Um, yeah. So,
exactly, exactly.
do you have any pets?
I do.
Oh, wait, what do you got?
So I have a cat. She is 3 years old. Her name is Rue. Um,
Aw.
she is a tortoise coloring, so she's got a lot of orange cat in her, and she's got some black cat in her, and her
Oh,
personality defines that. I mean, she bounces off walls and everything else. And then we have an 11-year-old Chihuahua Terrier mix named Toby, who is just an old soul and the best dog you could ever have. Yeah, he's very quiet. He doesn't bark or anything like that. Um, and he actually went through, he had lymphoma back in 2020, went through remission, or went through the CHOP program, and finished that up in early 2021. But so his system's kind of, it gets off whack pretty easily, but he's doing really well. So
that's awesome. Do you have a favorite like animal shelter that you like to bring attention to?
probably Cat's Cradle. That's where Rue came from. So Cat's Cradle, it's in Morganton, North Carolina, I believe. But they do a great job. They do as much as they possibly can. I know even right now the Catawba County Animal Shelter, I saw that they ended up having like they just got in like 273 animals in the matter of like 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's a shortage on food and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, just those are yeah, my babies, those are my fur babies. And so I care very much about animals and all of that.
So, if you guys are out in the area, if you are not able to go and adopt and help these shelters out in that manner, cash donations are welcome. I'm pretty sure there's online donations where you can go to. Also, contact them or go to their Facebook page or the websites to see what things that they need in there, what they use daily for the animals and things like that, because it does matter. So, if you can adopt, please donate and help where and when you can.
Exactly.
Because over here we have Mr. Happy. He's going to be 9
Aw.
in September, and he's been with me for about 5 years now.
Yeah.
So I got him when he was 4. He's getting to be in a little bit of a senior, but we don't say that too loud because he's just a baby.
Yep.
Um, but he's half pit and half yellow lab. So he's a really big, pretty boy and stuff.
Yeah.
I got him from Anderson County Paws here in
Oh,
Anderson, South Carolina. It's a no-kill shelter.
okay. Yeah.
And they always constantly need help. Even people go in, visit the dogs and stuff. It helps them with their interaction with humans and things like that. And if you're not sure what days their operation they are, check them out on Facebook. You can also check them out on online too. Google Anderson County Paws in Anderson, South Carolina, and see. You might find one that might steal your heart. You really do. You never know.
Yeah. I mean, I walked into PetSmart to get dog food and saw Rue back there, and I was like, nope, gotta take her. So she had a whole conversation with me from the aisle, and I was just like, nope, we gotta bring her home.
No, and it's funny because every time I go, my husband's like, "Please don't get attached to this one," because I'll come back and I'll be like, and I try to get him out, the information out, and
Yep.
he's like, "Don't get attached, don't get attached." I was like, "It doesn't matter because when I go back, if they're not there, I'm happy because that
Yeah,
means somebody come and got them and loved them before I could."
exactly. Exactly.
Are you a coffee or a tea person?
I am a chai tea person. Yeah. I'm not big on coffee. My husband loves coffee, but I just, I
Yeah. Is
can't
there
handle it.
is, is there a favorite tea spot you go to or a favorite brand that you use all the time?
Um, Honestly, I mean, love or hate them, I love Starbucks. Like, there's just they have, I think, the Tazo chai or whatever, and it tastes different. It's just different. Um, so yeah, I love Starbucks. I usually get my chai with oat milk or something like that, and yeah, and then put 15 different syrups in it. Not really, but
Yeah.
usually cinnamon dolce and vanilla. So yeah, I'm a
That
pretty
sounds
basic.
good though. It really does.
Oh, it is. Yeah, I usually get like a grande chai, iced chai usually, and especially right now. And do 2 pumps cinnamon dolce, 2 pumps vanilla, and then do cold foam because why
Well,
not?
what? All right.
Why not? You've
That
already
cold
got
foam's
that
a
much.
thing.
Yeah.
So in a time when you go to celebrate something like, an award nomination or an
Mhm,
award win, would you prefer
mhm.
a celebration out at a really cool spot, or would you prefer the family backyard relaxed barbecue like type thing?
Um, Honestly, probably the backyard family barbecue thing. I think because I'm gone so much, I just want to be home. I'm a homebody. Like, I love being on the road. I love going and playing different places and meeting everybody and all that. And I love experiencing new places. Like that's one of my favorite things. But I think at the end of the day, I would much rather just be at home and be at home with my husband and my pets, and because that's ultimately what matters. Um, so I would want to just share that with them.
That's phenomenal. I love that when people just want to share everything with everybody they love. That is so cool. Is there a type of venue that you like one type more than another?
I love listening rooms or somewhere where original music is. You have that ability to share the stories behind the songs. And it's not as much like the club or bar atmosphere of just what people know. And I mean, I love entertaining, and I love, again, having people sing back to me and all that kind of stuff like that, sing along with me, all that kind of stuff. But there's something about being able to go up there and just be really raw and honest and tell people the story behind a song and them care enough to listen. So I think listening rooms and that kind of atmosphere, just smaller venues where you have that one-on-one and can actually talk to somebody from the stage or whatever and have that just communal feel. Um, yeah, that's my preferred.
So when writing, is there a
Mhm.
favorite place that you like to write? Is there a certain
Mhm.
process that you have to go through to get your mindset to sit and write, or how's that work on your end?
It really depends on, so usually most of my ideas come to me when I'm in either in the shower or asleep. And so like I'll wake up and like jot something down. But it's usually when I'm doing something else is when I have an idea and I'm like, okay, well now I need to pursue this. Um, it depends on if I'm doing a co-write. When I go into a co-write, we kind of sit down and discuss, where are you at? Where am I at? Is there something we want to talk about? Is there something we already have that we, need to kind of finish or iron out the details for? Um, and so those are a little bit different because a lot of times you kind of gauge where everybody's at and just what you're bringing to the table in those situations. Um, I think I love co-writing. So hear me on that. I love co-writing. And I think you get a lot of new ideas, fresh perspectives, all that kind of stuff. And I think honestly, a lot of times you get a stronger song with a co-writer. But there's something about just sitting down when you're having a bad day. And, a lot of times I would just sit down on the couch in the living room or whatever and just start playing something. And, you know, an hour, 15 minutes, whatever later, depending on how involved I am with that song, you have a song and you have something that kind of it's for that little moment in time. So I think there's just something special about being able to sit down and write on your own that I will always love, because I mean, that's how I started. That's how I got through so much of middle school and high school. And just my thoughts were me just jotting stuff down in a journal. And so I think that I'll always come back to that.
Do you have a favorite guitar?
Hmm. Uh, I don't know. That's hard. That's a hard question. I have like every guitar I've ever owned, and I have a lot of guitars. And each of them have meaning to them. This one back here on this wall was my very first guitar. So, and then this one over here was the one my papa bought me for I think my 17th birthday. So both of those, of course, have meaning. The one I play the most is my Taylor, um, and it actually got struck by lightning like a few years
Oh,
ago. Like lightning ran in on it, and so like high up, like it has a buzz like real hot in the higher register, um, and it I don't know, like I don't use it as much, like I because of that, and you can't really tune that out at times, especially if there's a grounding issue. That's like all you hear is the buzz. But it's still my favorite to play, and I'm looking at it right now. So like that's what I'm looking over at. But yeah, that's probably still my favorite. And I think partly it's just because it fits. Like it so every guitar is a different size, different weight, whatever. And this one was just like perfectly what I needed. My Gibson, I love my Gibson, but it's big, and sometimes it was just too big for me. So yeah.
that's so cool though. All those guitars are so I'd have to say they're all your favorite.
I mean, because I mean they all have meaning behind them. I think my favorite to kind of stick with and play is the Taylor though.
The lightning struck guitar.
Yeah, that
Wow.
one.
I'm still amazed. Like it hit the guitar and nothing else. That's crazy.
So it sparked, like there were sparks that came out of it, and then like for a while, like I would walk up to the microphone and like sparks would fly off the microphone. It's
Oh,
like it wasn't grounded, so like it messed up like the pickup and stuff in it.
yeah.
Um, but then I took it in and they cleaned it and stuff. So now it only has issues every once in a while, but yeah, it's you know
It's unique for sure.
yeah.
Um, what was I was going to ask you something else too, and I'm trying to remember what it was because the guitar thing. I'm just fascinated with instruments and stuff, and I kind of get lost in the instrument
I
stories.
get it.
So,
I get it.
um, is there any like one time that you just like ever thought that in a particular place in a venue, have you ever just like gotten a feeling or something and just like no, I can't do this here, I gotta go?
Yes.
I
Yes.
did something bad happen following that
Um,
feeling?
it's not necessarily that anything bad happened. It just was not a good show. I will not tell you where it was because you can kind of narrow it down from that. But um, it was one of those situations where I was just not a good fit for the venue. And that was clear to me before I even started. Like I walked in and there was stuff playing on the jukebox that I was just like, this is going to be interesting. And within probably, oh goodness, maybe 30 minutes of being there, I was just like, yep, yep. This is going to be a long 3-hour event here. And I mean, I finished the first hour and thought this had to have been 3 hours, and it was not. It was not. Had two more to go. So yeah, that was definitely one that I was just like, please get me out of here and never send me back. So yeah.
Well, trust your gut.
Yeah. Well, and going into it, I kind of thought, this might not be the best fit, but you learn, you live, you learn. And I think especially when you're a newer artist and you're just trying to find places to play and figure out the whole booking thing, you go through a lot of trial and error and I think for me, I there's been a few places that I didn't necessarily like playing, but I looked at it as, well, I need to go do this. And I do think you need to. I think you need to have those experiences, but I've also learned that if I'm not going to do my best because I don't feel comfortable, then I don't need to be there either. So that's just something you learn. Not every gig is the perfect fit, and it's not, not every gig is worth taking. Like it's not necessarily. I'm that person that I want to play. Like I would book 10 shows a day if it was possible.
Right.
But I also have learned that I need to sort of balance that out, and I need to make sure that where I'm booking is going to be helpful and is going to be a good fit. And I mean, otherwise it's just misery. And why do that? Why do that to the crowd? Why do that to yourself? So yeah.
Do you have a balance of being up and on the go and then taking some downtime?
I would love to say yes. No, I do not. I try. I will say that. I very much try, and I feel like I've gotten better as the years have gone on. Um, I love to stay busy. I am that person that I will go until I cannot go anymore. And I'm also the person that's like, I'll rest when I'm dead. Not the best attitude to have, probably, but and I did learn that last year because I was on the go so much in 2023 that there was a lot of music that I wanted to finish that I didn't get out. So number one, that's where my concentration is this year. But number two, I got to about end of November and it was like my body was like, you're done. Please stop. And I got sick and I ended up having to cancel a few shows because of being sick. And I don't want to do that. So I am trying to figure out like that balance of, okay, this is a good number. And then you rest a day and then but it's one
Yes.
of those things that I've got to get through my head, and I'm stubborn when it comes to that.
Yes, but I want to tell everybody out there too to make sure you find some downtime. Because if you're not healthy, you can't do what you do, and you can't be there for others or the people you love. So you have to take care of
Exactly.
yourself first.
Yeah. My husband always says you can't pour from an empty cup. And yeah,
And
exactly.
that's why I'm gonna remind my people at Clemson Boulevard Lowe's that the gas tank don't run on E. You know who you are, and you know what I'm talking about. A lot of people like to work and overexert themselves and then not take breaks and eat and hydrate and things like that. So,
Yeah. I'm
yeah.
I'm bad about it. So I know. I know.
Well, there's a lot of people that has I have walked in or sent in a blazy bag to them directly.
Oh,
Yeah, with a snack and stuff and with a note and a reminder.
yeah.
So yeah, it's important to stay fueled. Um, so yes. So you have what upcoming dates do you have for shows?
Let's see. I have my phone here, so let's just look it up. Um, I know I have a show Friday, Thursday. Thursday is my first show in Kentucky. It's at Rose's Grill and Pub. It's in Frankfort, Kentucky. So about 5 hours from me, roughly. And then I am back home on. Hold on, let me get there. I am back home I'm in Tuskegee on Friday it's a private event. And then actually Saturday I have 2 shows. One is at the Spruce Pine Alien Festival, which is always fun.
That sounds interesting.
It is. It is rather interesting. So that's the morning. I'll be on the main stage in the morning, and then I'm at Lake Wiley later that night. So I'll be in South Carolina, and the next week I'll be closer to home. I've got a songwriter showcase in Lincolnton on Monday, and then actually I've got 3 days that I'm helping out with VBS at church. So I'll be doing that. And then actually I'm in Anderson next Friday the 14th. I'll be at the Vine and Barrel in Anderson from 6 to 9.
Wait, now am I Anderson?
Yeah, Anderson, South Carolina.
Oh, hold on. I gotta tell Wanda about that. Listen, Angie Shell, you listen, girl, we gotta figure out how to do this. I don't care which one of y'all taking off from work, but we gotta figure this out.
So yeah, June 14th, 6 to 9, Anderson, South Carolina, Vine and Barrel. And then I'm back in North Carolina Saturday for West Jefferson, and then Catawba on Sunday. And then, got some Virginia dates coming up, have sort of just all over the place. I'll be back in Nashville the end of July for some stuff. So, yeah.
That's cool. Hey, any of my peeps out there, you guys coming over this way, let me know so that way I can talk about it. I can get it on. I can do reels, let people know you're coming to the area. Like,
yeah,
for real, everybody just let me know. Seriously, it is a thing. Because I did find out somebody that Angie works with at Lowe's is a friend of the guest that I had in my last interview, Adam Whitehead.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you guys,
cool.
the people have fans over this way, they don't even know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hopefully I get to see you.
I hope so, because like I said, I gotta tell Ghost, I gotta tell my husband, that's his nickname, Ghost, because yeah, as you could tell, he works a million hours and he's kind of like the part of the furniture. And then when you don't think he's gonna get that household repair done, you blink and then it's done after you've been waiting for like 5 years. But you know,
that's awesome. Well, but hey, it gets done.
It does. So he's a really cool dude. One of my biggest supporters. So love you, Ghost. I know you're sleeping. And Angie Shout, I got to talk to you on your lunch break because we got to figure this out. We really do. I get excited when everybody comes over this way. If I could get out, I'd like to get out.
Yeah, actually, that's my first time playing in Anderson, so I'm looking forward to it.
That is so cool. Shoot, now I got all that excited. I forgot the next thing I was going to ask you. Did you want to play something or
yeah, definitely. I can definitely do that. It's just sitting here. Let's I don't know. Do you have one that you want me to play? Let me do Rock This Way because it's a little bit
yeah.
Yeah, I'll do that one. Like a crazy train moving on down the track. Too scared to look forward, to wanna look back. Like a bird free fall, neon sky. We were born to take it easy on a sweet slow ride. Burnt out jukebox still plays rock and roll. Your love suits my soul. We're gonna ride this way to the beat, steady as a drum. Gonna prove us right and prove them wrong when we keep on keeping on. Like favorite song playing on the radio and singing out of the top of your lungs. We're gonna ride this way to love. Don't let the sound of your wheels round the turn never drive you crazy. We gotta keep on, never stop believing, and hold me, baby. And walk this way while you give me a kiss. Well, can you handle this? We're gonna ride this way to the beat, steady as a drum. Gonna prove us right and prove them wrong. We keep on keeping on. Like favorite song playing on the radio and singing out at the top of your lungs. We're gonna ride this way coming home to you. And oh, my. Well, I'm singing this song for you. We're gonna ride this way to the beat, steady as a drum, gonna prove us right and prove them wrong. We keep on keeping on. Favorite song playing on the radio and singing out of the top of your lungs. We're gonna ride this way. Gonna ride this way. We're gonna ride this way to love.
Girl. Oh my God. I'm trying not to squeal because like that is just no, the energy that comes off it like literally it's one of them lift you up, have a good Monday kind of songs like.
Well, that's why I thought it would maybe work for, because it's
Yeah.
Tuesday and people are kind of blah.
Yeah, they are. They are. I don't know if you know, but Caruso officially, I guess, retired from music.
Oh,
I
no.
see in a post. So Caruso, listen, Blazy ain't gonna do you like that. You gave me that nickname, Blazy Mouth in the South, for a reason. So I gotta tell you, despite everything that we've been through and all that, them two songs, I still use them to help me get through the bad pain spikes. Also, I've learned a lot from you. Sad to see you go, but you're on to end of an era, beginning of a new one. So what I gotta say with my coffee is cheers, Caruso, and good luck to you and Amanda May and everything else that you guys do. And thank you for everything that you taught me.
Amen to that.
Yes, because it was hard for me to do that because I was trying not to get all wishy washy.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
Anyways, if there was like a total boss baddie lineup of female ultimate concert with you headlining, who would be else with you? Would you want with you in that situation?
Oh goodness. There's so many people. I probably would pick like 90s artists. So like I would love to have Alanis Morissette there. I think Fiona Apple would be cool to see live. Melissa Etheridge. Like one of my favorite concerts I ever went to was let me try to get that out. Lilith Fair, because it was all these women. Like it was an amazing show. But I also think Dina Carter would be great to see again. Reba, Martina McBride. All of those artists like Faith Hill. I'm trying to think who else.
Mindy McCready.
Yeah, Mindy McCready. Oh yeah, Mindy. Oh, bless me.
Jody Messina.
Jody Messina would be good. Yeah, I had the honor of meeting Jody Messina way back when, and she's so sweet, and Mindy McCready was super sweet too, and I hate everything that happened with her, and but yeah, there's just I think for me 90s country, and that's once I finish this next project, I'm going back into the studio because Colorado that I put out at the end of November is actually part of a 90s throwback project that I kind of put on hold so I could do this project lately. And those are people that I look at as, they taught me music. They're the reasons I do this. So that 90s country and 90s just like rock, grunge, pop kind of feel, that's very much my youth and what I fell in love with. And so yeah, I think having all of them together, it would be amazing.
That would be so cool though. That would be one Wow. Now I'm just thinking about that. You guys would have to like have like festival grounds or
Oh,
something.
it would yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would be huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it really would. That would be awesome. Um, so we are looking for Lately to come out and more information on Lately to come out and things like that tomorrow, everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
And don't forget, she's coming here. Y'all, everybody in Anderson, listen. Make sure you go out and see her at the, what is it, the
Vine and Barrel.
Vine and Barrel here in Anderson on June 14th, y'all, because I'm going to tell you it's going to be a show you're going to want to see because I just have a feeling. I just have a feeling, seriously. You can't like do things, a performance like that where I'll rock it out like that, and then
Oh,
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a good show. Just
thank you.
have a feeling. And I don't want to keep you any longer than I have to because you are extremely busy. That I do know. So I would like to wish everybody peace, love, and respect, and we will see you on the flip side.
Sounds good. Bye.